Imagine waking up one day to a red sky, gravity 1/3 of Earth's, and your neighbor, a fellow Martian settler. Could humanity actually build a second home on Mars? And what would it take? We once gazed at Mars with wonder. Now we ask, can we live there? From terraforming to Martian cities, today's science may be tomorrow's survival. Earth is changing, fast. But what if our survival doesn't lie in fixing this world, but building another? Let's explore how Mars could become humanity's boldest frontier. What if Mars became our second home, an exploration of potential? For centuries, Mars has been more than just a planet. It's been a canvas for our hopes, our fears, and our most audacious dreams. We've written about it in science fiction. We've sent robots to touch its dust. And now, we are seriously planning to live there. But how close are we really to making Mars our second home? From Galileo to Musk, humanity's gaze has shifted from curiosity to ambition. But this ambition faces obstacles more alien than Mars itself: radiation, thin air, gravity, isolation. Still, the question echoes louder every year. What if Mars became our second home? Why we need a plan B. Earth is home, but Earth is also vulnerable. A single asteroid, a supervolcano, a runaway climate event, and civilization as we know it could end. Elon Musk once said, "We want to make life multiplanetary, not just because it's cool, but because survival may demand it." We're 8 billion strong and counting. Our resources are finite. Our systems are fragile. Mars may not just be the next frontier. It could be our only lifeboat. If we can build a second Earth on Mars, we build a second chance. Getting there, the path to Mars. But before we can build, we have to get there. Today, Mars is about 140 million miles away on average. A trip would take 6 to 9 months, using current propulsion technology. Radiation exposure during transit is one of the greatest threats. Unlike Earth, there's no magnetic field in space to shield us. NASA, ESA, and SpaceX are all working on long-duration missions. SpaceX's Starship is designed to carry up to 100 people to Mars in a single journey, reusable, powerful, and built with one goal: colonization. The hardware is nearly ready, but the logistics? Staggering. We'll need water, fuel, air, food, or the technology to produce them there. This means closed-loop ecosystems, nuclear energy, and next-gen 3D printing. The question isn't just, can we go? It's, can we stay? Building the first Martian settlements. Touchdown. The first human steps on Mars. The first human to step on Mars will echo in history, just like Armstrong on the Moon. But this time, it's not just about footprints. It's about foundations. The first missions will be small. Think crews of 4 to 6 people, each with specific tasks: building, testing life support, scouting for ice, and laying infrastructure. Early structures will likely be prefabricated: inflatable domes, pressurized habitats, and radiation-shielded shelters buried in Martian regolith. Water is the key, and Mars has it, locked in underground ice. Melting and purifying it will be one of humanity's first survival challenges. Martian living. Surviving day-to-day life on Mars won't be easy. Every breath, every meal, every sip of water must be created and recycled. Oxygen will come from electrolysis, food from hydroponics, power from solar arrays or small modular nuclear reactors. The Martian atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide. Temperatures swing from 100 degrees at night to a balmy 20 degrees near the equator in sunlight. Outside, a spacesuit is mandatory. Inside, every system must be monitored 24/7. And then, there's isolation. Days are 24.6 hours, but the nights? Long, silent, alien. Building the first Martian colony. Once survival is secured, growth begins. Modular design will allow habitats to expand. Labs, greenhouses, communal areas. Artificial intelligence and robotics will build alongside humans. Drones will scout terrain. Rovers will transport supplies. Some visions even propose settling inside Martian lava tubes, massive natural tunnels that offer shelter from radiation and temperature swings. Martian soil, once considered barren, can be used as building material. With sintering and 3D printing, we may one day craft cities from the planet itself. The goal is sustainability, a self-sufficient city, one not dependent on Earth for survival. Terraforming Mars, science fiction or future reality? Terraforming means transforming a planet to make it Earth-like, warmer, wetter, breathable. On Mars, it would involve thickening the atmosphere, raising temperatures, and possibly even creating lakes and rivers. Visual. Artist renderings. Mars slowly turning green and blue over centuries. It sounds like science fiction, and for now it largely is, but that hasn't stopped scientists and dreamers from proposing real strategies. Terraforming tools. What could work? Method 1. Greenhouse gas factories. Mars already has CO2 in its ice caps and soil. By releasing it, via factories or heat, we could warm the planet over time. Method 2. Orbital mirrors. One idea: place giant mirrors in space to concentrate sunlight on the poles. The goal? Melt CO2 and release it into the atmosphere. Method 3. Targeted nuclear detonations. Elon Musk once floated the idea of nuking the Martian poles, not for war, but to rapidly release greenhouse gases. It would be dramatic, but dangerous. The scale needed is enormous, and the unintended consequences? Unknown. Method 4. Engineered life forms. Could we seed Mars with life? Some propose genetically modified bacteria that release oxygen and thrive in extreme conditions. The ethics and timeline of terraforming. Terraforming may be possible, but should we do it? Some argue Mars should be preserved, a pristine world untouched by human interference. Others believe survival trumps all. Even with massive effort, terraforming would take centuries, perhaps millennia. In the meantime, we'll live under domes. In small steps, we'll learn how to survive before we learn how to transform. The psychological frontier. What life on Mars will do to the human mind. Technology can get us there. But can the human spirit survive a new world so far from home? Isolation, loneliness, and the Martian mind. Mars isn't just far, it's isolating. A message to Earth takes up to 22 minutes one way. That means no real-time communication, no quick calls home. Imagine birthdays with no family, holidays without Earth's air, and years before returning, if ever. Isolation is a major psychological challenge. In long simulations on Earth, crews report depression, conflict, even hallucinations. Mental health support will be as essential as oxygen. Relationships, families, and community on Mars. Eventually, people won't just work on Mars. They'll live and love on Mars. Families may form, children may be born, but what will childhood look like under artificial light, indoors 24/7, with gravity a third of Earth's? Society will evolve differently. Cultural norms, language, even law will adapt to survival in a hostile world. We won't just bring Earth's habits to Mars. Mars will change us. The new Martian identity. Over time, Martians may not see themselves as Earthlings. They may become something new, Martian humans, born on another world, shaped by different struggles. Will they still feel loyal to Earth? Or will Mars become its own civilization, its own culture, its own destiny? The human mind, faced with a planet of silence and danger, will either adapt or unravel. This frontier isn't just physical, it's deeply personal. Imagine who owns Mars. Politics, law, and the future of interplanetary conflict. When we settle Mars, who gets to decide what happens there? And could humanity carry its old conflicts to a new world? The space treaties, outdated or still relevant? In 1967, as the space race soared, the world agreed. Space belongs to no nation. The Outer Space Treaty declared the moon and planets as the province of all mankind. But what happens when private companies want to mine, build, and settle? Is Mars still free, or will it be claimed piece by piece? The treaty bans sovereignty and weapons of mass destruction in space, but it says little about ownership, governance, or enforcement. Corporate colonization, the rise of space capitalism. Space is no longer just for governments. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others are building the future of space exploration, and they're doing it fast. But if a private company builds the first base on Mars, who's really in charge? Could Mars become a corporate dystopia? A place where resources are extracted and workers have fewer rights than on Earth? Without a planetary government, early settlements may fall into legal gray zones, or worse, become self-governing enclaves with no oversight. Mars wars? Future conflicts beyond Earth. Humanity's history is filled with conflict over land, resources, and power. Why would Mars be different? Water, minerals, landing zones, all will be scarce, and wherever scarcity meets ambition, tension follows. Could we see Earth's nations clash over Martian territory? Could Mars rebel against Earth's control? Science fiction has long warned us of Mars wars, but if we act now, with laws, treaties, and unity, maybe we can write a different history this time. The science of staying alive, technology that makes Mars possible. Surviving on Mars isn't a question of courage. It's a question of engineering. Life support. Every breath you take. Every breath on Mars is borrowed from a machine. Oxygen must be generated, carbon dioxide removed, and humidity balanced, 24/7, without fail. The Moxie experiment on NASA's Perseverance rover has already proven we can make oxygen from the Martian atmosphere. The next step? Scaling it for entire colonies. Failure isn't an option. Life support is the thin line between a habitable base and a silent grave. Energy, powering the red planet. On Earth, we take power for granted. On Mars, it's your lifeline. Solar energy works, but dust storms can block sunlight for weeks. That's why nuclear is a top candidate. NASA's kilopower reactors promise reliable energy day and night no matter the weather. Future Martian cities will rely on hybrid systems, solar, nuclear, maybe even wind, to ensure every system runs, even in emergencies. Closed-loop living, the ultimate recycling challenge. On Mars, nothing is wasted. Every drop of water, every gram of waste, every breath of air must be recycled. Advanced closed-loop ecosystems will mimic Earth's, growing food in hydroponics, filtering waste into nutrients, maintaining perfect balance. The more we can grow, recycle, and sustain ourselves locally, the less we depend on Earth, and the closer we get to true independence. What will a Martian civilization look like? A new world won't just require new tools. It will require new ways to live, work, think, and dream. Architecture of survival. Designing for Mars. Martian design isn't just about aesthetics. It's about survival. Radiation, micrometeoroids, and extreme temperatures mean structures must be robust and adaptive. Some plans call for 3D printing habitats with Martian soil. Others envision inflatable domes encased in ice for natural shielding. Where we build, on the surface, under it, or inside natural features, will shape Martian life from day one. The Martian economy, work and trade on a new world. At first, Martian life will be about survival. Engineers, medics, scientists. But over time, a real economy will emerge. From mining rare metals to developing technologies for use back on Earth, Mars may become a hub of innovation and resource extraction. Will Mars have money? A Martian cryptocurrency? A resource-based barter system? No one knows. But whatever it is, it will be built from scratch. Culture, art, and identity, the Martian soul. Even in the most extreme environments, humans create. Art, music, stories, all will help forge the first Martian culture. What myths will Martians tell their children? What songs will echo through their domes? What values will guide a people born on another world? As we spread across the cosmos, we won't just export Earth's culture. We'll build new ones, unique, local, Martian. A second Earth or a second chance? Colonizing Mars is not just a technical journey. It's a moral one. What kind of future will we build, and who will we become? The risks we carry with us. We've mastered tools, crossed oceans, split atoms, and made miracles. But we've also waged war, burned forests, and polluted the sky. If we go to Mars only to repeat the mistakes of Earth, what's the point? Mars gives us a blank slate, but also a mirror. It will reflect not just our ingenuity, but our integrity, the hope of a second beginning. Mars could be our second Earth, but more than that, it could be our second chance. A place where we choose collaboration over conquest, sustainability over greed, wisdom over impulse. It's not about escaping Earth. It's about expanding life, becoming stewards of two worlds, not destroyers of one. We are the pioneers of tomorrow. The journey to Mars has already begun, in labs, in launch pads, in imaginations. And one day, perhaps soon, a human being will look up from red soil and know they are home. What if Mars became our second home? The better question is, what kind of people will we be when we arrive? If this inspired you, if you believe in a future beyond Earth, hit the like button, share this with a fellow dreamer, and subscribe for more deep explorations into the frontiers of space and humanity. This is more than science. This is our story. On-screen text. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's build the future together.